In this episode of For the Lads, ex-UFC fighter Luke Cummo is going to break down, would Bruce Lee be successful in today's modern MMA? Stick around and Luke's going to give plenty of insights and break down different techniques from the movies and how it would translate in actual real life and his own personal experiences in doing so. Welcome to another episode of For the Lads. So this is a special episode with my happy to call good friend Luke Cummo, Master Lukey, all the way from season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. And we're going to pick his brain about Bruce Lee and how he'd maybe do an MMA. And, a bit about his experiences and his love for Bruce Lee movies and myself. So he's a legend and, he's part of the reason why a lot of us are sitting around doing this sort of stuff and appreciating the sport. Like, I was lucky that, I mentioned to you before, my grandfather got me into him when I was 5 years old. And yeah, I used to just, when you're a kid and you watch a movie and you let it run all the way and then you just rewind and you rewatch the same movie over and over again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man.
You did that?
Yeah.
With what?
All of the Bruce Lee movies. I had
all of them.
Yeah, I had all the Chinese ones. Yeah. So I ended up getting into the Dragon later on, but I had a box set of all the ones he did in China, and I just used to watch them over and over.
I guess subtitles, huh?
No, they were dubbed. Poorly.
Okay.
Poorly, but dubbed.
Oh, when you say the Chinese ones, you're talking Big Boss, Way of the Dragon,
all the ones.
Return of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Or Chinese Connection.
Yeah. I mean, Enter the Dragon was done in China, but it's, an American production. So.
Right. Yeah, we got 3 awesome movies queued up. I don't know what's going to happen with the copyright, but we could always edit it out or
we'll play
figure that out
after.
But I tell people that Bruce Lee was actually my first martial arts instructor.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's bullshit. He was dead by the time you were born. I said, well, he left his teachings for everyone.
Mm.
So there's no way he's not your teacher. He's influenced your teachers and your teachers' teachers. Everybody was influenced because whether or not he invented it, he was there when there was no MMA.
Mm.
And he was cross-training with other styles.
Mm.
He was cross-training with Judo Gene LaBelle. He was cross-training in Western boxing. He was cross-training in karate and kickboxing with Chuck Norris and Joe Louis. We'll go over that.
Mm.
And it's right there in his writings and his teachings to his students where he's saying, don't have a style. Don't get bound by what somebody else teaches you. You have to learn everything, keep what works. One of his famous lines is absorb what is useful and discard what is not.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's what every MMA fighter does. You get a game plan, you get a strategy, you got your go-to moves, your specialties. You might come from a boxing background, but you got to learn jiu-jitsu, or you might come from a wrestling background, but you got to learn striking.
Mm.
And Bruce Lee was a pioneer. And I don't care what anybody says. I call him the Godfather because that was a time when there was no internet. So this is not something that Bruce Lee, you can't say that he really got from anybody else. He didn't see somebody post on social media and then he started absorbing it. A lot of this shit, he went out there and he found it. That change was coming from inside him.
Mm.
Was he a good fighter, though? That's a bit what I want to get into today because people like to hate and talk shit, especially the wrestlers. Anybody who's wrestler, they don't like martial artists because
why is that?
I think it's because back in it's a bit of competition. but also I think they wrestlers think, and so do boxers, to be honest, that traditional martial arts is mythological
Mm.
bullshit that doesn't really work. But
That I'm going to quickly interject. I think there is some truth to it. Like obviously back in the day, things were maybe drawn out a little bit. You know, like oh they hit you with a finger touch and then you die a week later and all this sort of shit. Um, but obviously, you know, if you look at guys like Lyoto Machida, just for example, you know, there's guys that have come along and proved that obviously some traditional martial arts definitely work, and there's stuff in there that is definitely useful. But now we live in an age, like you said, we have access to the internet. And like when I was a kid, a lot of people thought the guys in the movies were like actually the best fighters in the world. Like people are a little bit more educated now, you know? Oh, I've lost your sound there.
sorry, I
Yeah, that's all right.
pressed mute on my mic.
All good.
The death touch is real, bro.
Yeah?
You can you can die from blunt force trauma
Well, definitely.
to your abdomen.
Mm.
Yeah, you could die from a punch to the head. You could die from a blunt force trauma to your body.
But doing like a a pressure point poke and then you dying a week later is maybe a little bit a little bit fanciful. What do you reckon?
I don't think that idea is fanciful. What I do think is bullshit is the guys doing the no touch knockouts and guys like George Dillman,
Mm.
demonstrating on his students. I think you can get an internal injury and get fucked up for real, for real.
Mm.
And we're just barely touching the surface of the long term effects of subconcussive impact.
Mm.
From all these fighters taking punches. But that's another story. Um, the uh, the wrestlers, I think, and the boxers, because they have uh, the sport aspect of it, they think that's the only way. But keep in mind, we're talking about the word martial. It comes from the
Mm.
word war. So jujitsu actually was a subcategory of the samurai arts, which included horseback riding, archery, sword fighting, sabotage, espionage, all the ninja arts, and they were killing people
Mm.
with or without weapons. That's why you can get killed in an MMA match and a boxing match. These
Yeah,
are the
definitely.
techniques passed down by the people who killed the other people. That's how they knew it worked. They were successful in battle. They passed those techniques on,
Mm.
right? So they had to make forms because you can't kill your sparring partners.
Mm.
All these guys that are doing hard sparring,
Mm.
going to war in the gym, they're really shortening their careers. And look at the old guys. We've spoken about this before.
Mm.
Robbie Lawler and them. They're not doing the hard sparring anymore because they know that it shortens your career.
Mm.
But when you do wrestling, it's less traumatic brain injury.
Mm.
They still get injured and stuff like that, but it's not as bad. And then boxing, boxing's another story because they do die in boxing.
Mm.
But these techniques that Bruce took from everywhere. We're gonna go over a couple of them today. I just want to give a quick intro
Mm.
to Bruce because I'm not gonna suck anybody's nuts. Now he's my hero, he's my teacher,
Mm.
but I'm gonna try to approach this realistically with actual technique and not like what
Just
we were talking about,
opinions.
like the mythological,
Mm.
he whatever his speed and stuff. I mean that's all appropriate. And this could end up, if people like it, maybe we could do a series because we're not going to get into Game of Death where he's got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the
Mm.
first martial arts athlete.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're going to go a bit into philosophy, his training, his techniques, and then I'm going to compare it. I'm going to show you his
Mm.
techniques, and then we'll show you them being used successfully in MMA. Just quick background about me. How I got into Bruce Lee. I was having behavior challenges at 15. I was kind of like losing interest in soccer. I was a soccer player all through my youth, and then I just kind of lost the taste for it.
Mm.
So from like 13 to 15, I was fucking off. I was, just being a teenager.
Yeah.
But my mom wanted me to have some structure, and she showed me Enter the Dragon, which I thought was corny at first, but then as I watched, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And I looked up Bruce Lee. There was no internet back then. Somehow I found out that he was a kung fu stylist, which he started off as you know,
Mm.
but um, I didn't know that he had his own style till later on. So I found a kung fu school, and this guy's name was Michael Perella, who was a student of Chan Tai San. Now I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you Chan Tai San. Just to respect the uh, the older generation, because like I said, these guys, they pass down their techniques. Um, Chan Tai San, born in 1920. I thought he was one of the 10 tigers, which was around this time when the West colonized China, I think, and everybody was kung fu fighting. This he was one of them.
Yeah.
He had like these rare styles, Lama Pai, which was considered an anti-grappling style,
How's that
and then
work?
Choi Lei Fat, which like I was saying before, the techniques are deadly, so they had to hide the in forms.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
they have these moves which you think is like just moving their arms around, but they're actually, if you put it with a person, these arms are doing techniques like throws.
Mm.
And China has Shui Chao, which is a grappling art. It's similar to Mongolian wrestling or judo or sambo, where they kind of wear a jacket and they throw each other.
Mm.
So he's a legit fighter for the time. He was a military man. He had an axe wound in his head, a scar in
Jesus.
his head from an axe. And yet he said the hardest and the worst injury he ever got was from a female monk, but she nursed him back to health. I don't know if that was a metaphor or if that's a true story. Um, One of the only few instructors who openly taught Lama Pai. There was only 5 in the world teachers, apparently. So anyway, he was my teacher's teacher, Sky.
Oh
As,
wow.
as legit as they come for the time.
Yeah.
He might have been one of those guys that ends up on these like viral things where like an MMA fighter goes to challenge the old master and the fucking old master gets his ass kicked.
Mm.
But I think this guy, he's a military man. I think he might not have had the most refined like mixed martial arts technique.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't do jujitsu, but I bet you he had a fucking fighting spirit.
Mm.
Just to keep going in the martial arts when you don't have to. There's got to be something that inside you is like firing you up. The dragon,
Mm.
the spirit of the dragon, right? So he was my teacher's teacher, this guy, Michael Perella. And we would spar MMA with foam dipped sparring gear. I'm going to pull that up. Foam dipped sparring gear. Ribbit. You might have seen stuff like this before.
Yeah, with taekwondo.
Taekwondo, karate, kung fu. And we would go full on MMA.
True.
And me as a 15 to 18-year-old, I think I stopped when I was about 19. Um, young, strong, full of energy, fighting people who would be coming home from work, middle aged. They're like weekend warrior type thing. And then they got to go to war with a
With
kid
you.
who's hungry. Yeah. But my teachers were really good. One of them is a guy named Sifu Brandon. Sifu Brandon. What the fuck is his name? Something. I'm gonna go New York, Yonkers. Great. He's a Gracie black belt now.
Holy shit.
Under Hoyts. Yeah.
Jeez.
Sifu Brandon.
See, I reckon Bruce would
What the
have.
hell is his
I
last
reckon
name?
Bruce would have ended up training under the Gracies, because he was
Oh
over
yeah.
there, and then, Chuck Norris ended up, training under the Gracies. I'm pretty sure he got a black belt under the Gracies, if I
Yep.
remember correctly. So I would imagine he would have ended up doing the same thing.
Absolutely. So what I did was basically take the movies, be watching them
Mm.
at home, and then I would go sparring at the kung fu school and use Bruce Lee's moves on the middle-aged kung fu fighters, and my coach who was really good.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but he was really good and he kicked my ass. But
Can you give us a rough year, or roughly when
oh
this
yeah,
might have
so
been?
anywhere from 1995 to 1999 was when I was training.
Good time.
We would be watching these VHS tapes
Mm.
that people would be passing around. They taped them off of the pay-per-view,
Mm.
of the old UFCs and stuff.
Yeah, that's how I started.
They would say, yeah, Bruce Lee never fought, but there was no fights back then,
Mm.
right?
Well, it's
Uh, there was no MMA promotions. There
no.
was no rules, no YouTube. But like I said, he was anti-dogma, and you really have to be like water
Mm.
to be able to fight everybody. You can't just like be a good striker and have no grappling,
Yeah, that's
and vice versa.
and there's so much corroboration that he was legit. He wasn't just playing a character. That was him. He had heaps of people challenge him on set, uh, and even legit martial artists like Chuck Norris saying the guy was legit. He wasn't just playing a role. The guy, he was
Facts.
who you saw on the movies was the man himself. Obviously, this is the thing. Is it's like you see a lot of young people that didn't grow up with
Mm.
Bruce Lee movies. Always wanted. You see two different people. You see the young people that try to downplay him, and then you see older people maybe go a little bit too far as well. I think
Mm.
as far as the 70s goes, if you compare his movies and what he looked like in film compared to the over choreographed kung fu movies of that era, or even just the
Exactly.
martial artists themselves, like Bruce Lee looked amazing. People didn't really look like that in martial art movies back then. And then
Oh
like
yeah.
just the who's who of martial artists that got into martial arts because of him. That's partly his legacy. Like I got a few names here that I put down. This is only a small,
Nice.
brief a list of names of people that got in. So obviously yourself, you got
Right.
Bass Rutten, Anderson Silva, GSP, Conor McGregor, Maurice Smith, Matt Serra, Benny the Jet Rodriguez, Don the Dragon Wilson, Vladimir Klitschko. Like these are all guys that got into martial arts because of Bruce Lee. And then,
No
yeah,
way.
man. And then
They
how
all
many?
said that?
Yeah. And then you've got like, imagine just for example, how many people would have got into martial arts because they saw Anderson Silva or they saw GSP. Like that all
Mm.
is his legacy.
Mm.
And like, so just disrespecting him because you're like, well, he wouldn't beat GSP. It's like, well, yeah. For starters, you're comparing two different, what martial artists GSP size are going to beat GSP from the 1970s? Like no one,
Right.
So he doesn't have to necessarily be a UFC champion. That doesn't. There's one doesn't preclude the other. Like the guy still could fight.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that at the end. We're just based on his size and his weight, comparing him against like current UFC fighters who's in his weight class.
Yeah.
Another guy who at the time was as legit a fighter as they come. He was only kickboxing, but they didn't have MMA. This guy Joe Lewis
Mm.
trained under Bruce Lee.
Mm.
Credited him with timing, distance, and his strategy.
I
Judo
mean,
Jean LaBelle, you know, he did Western boxing.
how
He
many
wasn't,
other martial artists did you see at the time grappling in their kung fu movies? Like, it might have not been sound technically, but still,
yeah,
this is 1972.
yep. He wasn't behind the curve. He was building the curve.
Mm.
So let me share. Let's see. We're gonna start with. We'll go in order. No, we're not gonna go back and forth. Okay. This is from Return of the Dragon. Okay. You know this one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with this one because this was one of the ones that I really studied,
Mm.
and I would practice these actual combos because he really uses a lot of feints. He baits Chuck Norris because he's trying to say, um, not necessarily in this movie. In Game of Death, he talks about the disadvantages of each style, but I think in this one, he's really showing the limitations of one style. Where Chuck Norris, he's the best in the world.
Yeah.
In this movie, that's what they're saying. He's the top fighter,
Mm.
right? But Bruce Lee, he figures him out, and you see it actually happening
Mm.
in the fight because Chuck gets him, but Bruce Lee makes those adjustments.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh shit, this is the first time I was like, damn, you got a strategy within the technique. It's like you want somebody to do something and you bait them. Let's
Mm.
go a little forward here.
Which you don't really even see in movies now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think people have the attention span anymore.
Yeah, fair point.
Um, it's not a long fight. It's a few minutes, but I might pause in just try to find little spots that is applicable. All right, so this is a common lead leg roundhouse kick. Um, Wonder Boy does it a lot.
Mm.
You know, it's your longest weapon. It's your longest weapon, and um, if it hits, it's really good. Quick story. I did it to Matt Serra
Like
the first time we
si-
sparred.
sidekick.
Roundhouse lead leg roundhouse
Oh,
kick.
okay.
So you kind of sneak your back leg up, you lift your front leg up, and I used to throw front kick, lead leg front kick. And you ever see the question mark kick
Yeah, I
where you
was
bring
just
your
gonna.
leg up and then you turn it over?
Yeah.
So it was similar to that, where I would go lead leg front kick, and then I would bring my leg up and then just turn it into a roundhouse kick. And I fucking kicked Matt Serra right in the mouth. Our first time sparring, and he was getting ready for the UFC, and this was huge at the time. He was like just in the UFC, like in
Yeah.
the beginning days. So the whole place was like, "Oh," like worried that I just he had a fight coming up, and I kicked him in the mouth. He might not even been wearing a headgear. He probably was because we did that a lot with Ray. He was kind of old school like that. But Ray's like, "Matt, are you okay?" He goes, "I love it." And then he proceeded to kick the shit out of me.
He was a good sport about it then.
Oh yeah, this is a bit crazy. All right, so the videos advertisements over. Whoop. Okay. This was listed as a comedy on Wikipedia. Yeah. So I think what Bruce Lee realizes here is that he can't attack straight up because Chuck's going to block in return.
Mm.
And this is where he starts to, bounce on his feet and just start using his feints.
Mm.
And it's like they call it setting traps or baiting, like I said, but it really does start with the foot. I'm always harping on that footwork.
Mm.
But this is not in traditional martial arts. This is a Western boxing idea.
That's true.
And fencing.
Yeah.
Western boxing. And fencing is just straight back and forth, but the bouncing, the jump rope, the road work. So when Chuck realizes that Bruce isn't going to attack, then he could just block and return, he starts attacking Bruce. Now Bruce is evading. He's kind of like feeling him out, maybe a little bit of a rope-a-dope type of concept. And he's just kind of feeling him out. Not necessarily getting him tired, but seeing, you start to read your opponent.
Yeah.
All right, so then he punches him in the lead hand, right? He's trying to get him to think about the lead hand and his lead hand, right? Every time he comes in, he's going to get... My coach, Ray Longer, used to say that every time the guy comes in, he's got to get past your lead, either your lead hand or your lead foot. He doesn't get anything free.
Mm.
Okay, so this is one of the techniques that I actually want to focus on. It's called the burn kick. It's a shuffle lead leg roundhouse kick. So the roundhouse kick, as you know from Thailand, you come around with your shin bone, you hit him above the knee in the where the thigh muscle kind of turns in towards the knee there. There's the nerve exposed because the muscle's not as thick. And you could take somebody out with one kick or wear them down over time. That's with the lead leg. You step and you swing it like a baseball bat. But the lead leg, what they call the burn kick, you're not hitting with the shin. You're shuffling in and you're using the instep where it turns into the ankle. And you're slapping it and it burns the skin. That's why they call it the burn kick. It's not a powerful technique. You're not going to finish anybody, but it's low risk. It's like what Bruce Lee just did before, where he kind of jabbed at the guy's hand because that's the closest thing to him. He doesn't have to get into the danger zone. When you throw the burn kick, you can distract your partner, or you can get them to think low because of that sensation that they feel with that burning in their leg. And that sets up your other thing. So we'll go back a little bit and we'll see them burn kick. All right. He gets him to think low. He's looking at his feet. And then he comes high with it. Yeah, that's totally realistic.
Well, they got to chuck a bit of that in there for the movies.
Right. And the cross kick. That's where John Jones got it from.
I was just gonna say. There's a bit of a...
Okay. Let's see. Chinese Connection 124.30. Oh no, sorry. Return of the Dragon. Here we go. 34.21. Okay. I have my notes here. It says combining boxing with a foot sweep and then ground and pound.
Dragon whips his tail.
Classic.
Show me some of that Chinese
I think
boxing.
I'm starting to remember why I got into Asian women. was watching all
Hey,
these,
yeah.
watching all these as a kid.
All right, you see that?
Yeah, there's a bit of boxing there.
We got head movement.
Yeah.
Foot sweep, ground and pound. Boom. Return to the Dragon boxing. Okay. All right, so we got that. Classic scene. Is that lead leg roundhouse again? Get that jab. Ready? Triple jab. All right. So this. Let's see here. Gotta fast forward a little bit. Whoops. Okay, you got triple jab. And he goes low jab, high punch. Where he's gonna go low and then high. And then body punch. Okay. So who did a low high recently? Okay, low jab, high cross. Ready? Low jab, high cross.
Pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, well, Bruce did a low jab, high hook, but similar concept. You go low, punch high. See if we can get it.
But
Get
he's,
another
he's obviously also over dramatizing it for the movies a bit, but
right.
yeah, the essence.
So
of it is the same.
he tried. He really did try to leave his techniques on film for us. And let's see. There's one more.
You have offended my family, and you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
Dude, the frame on this guy. It's like an upside down triangle. Scissors takedown. Right? All right. Okay. This one is with another Lee. In the original UFC, like Hoist Gracie gets tooled. This is only maybe 5-10 years ago. But there's a better grip. See how Al has his hands together? He should actually take his left hand, come over and grab the heel. Then use that right hand exactly where it is, but just to reinforce. It's a better grip. But anyway, we just saw, what did we see? We saw the low high in a boxing match by an Olympic gold medalist. Okay. Here we see the scissors takedown in the UFC by somebody who challenged Khabib and went all 5 rounds.
That's
so
true.
he never got the title, but I don't think anybody would say that Al Iaquinta is not world class. Okay. So these are techniques that Bruce Lee was doing 50 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
Did he die in the 70s?
Yeah,
And it's almost
73.
the 30s. It's almost the 2030s. So
Yeah.
it's long ass time ago. The only reason why he wasn't an MMA fighter is because there was no MMA.
Mm.
The last before we go on to the next segment, which is going to be him actually in MMA. Who would he be able to face against? I think. Yeah, Bruce Lee in today's weight class. This is just a little clip of me doing Master Lukey MMA. This is no head contact, and this is a Gracie black belt. His striking is more traditional. I'm trying to help him with his footwork, but more of a grappler than a striker. He has a lot of black belts. He actually has black belts in multiple styles. He locks me up here. I thought I was getting good on him because I got underhooked. He took my underhook, see that? And he locked me. I thought he was going to break my arms. He just swept me, sacrifice throw, and he held me here for the most match. Interesting to score because you have control here. So, you have to score and figure out how you want to score that. But I ended up getting up, and I just want to show you the burn kick and how when somebody is trying to hit you, it could be used. And this idea of a fast low kick, if you wanted to be mean with it, you could go straight to the knee, straight to the shin. Bruce Lee called it an intercept kick. See, I'm in and out.
That's another crazy thing as well when you watch Bruce, how fucking quick he is. And they're getting him to slow down half the time because the cameras aren't catching him, and he's like,
oh my god, they made him slow down.
Yeah,
that's great. That's crazy. So, Bruce Lee height and weight. 5'8", 141.
And that's walking around weight.
So walk around, you figure he's got to be at least going to cut to 135, maybe even 125. Right?
Yeah.
Who is the so it's Peter Yan is the 135, and Joshua Wan, what's his last name? Yan? Is his last name Yan too, or Van? Yan and Van.
Yeah.
Joshua Van. Okay, so let's see Joshua Van.
So he's the one who just picked up the title recently.
On an injury, right? I didn't see the fight, but I heard the other guy got hurt.
I missed it as well. I haven't seen the last couple of UFCs.
Okay, so Joshua Van is 5'5", 125. Wow. So Bruce would have had 3 inches on him. Let's see. And that's what? What do they call that? Straw weight? That's the females.
No, that's
Bantam?
Bantam, yeah. No, flyweight's Joshua Van.
Okay, flyweight.
So you got him, Alexander Pantoja, Miguel Manel Gep. I'm not sure this one. Tashushi, I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Brandon L'Oreal. Brandon Moreno.
Who's tall in this? Because a lot of these guys kind of like short. Maybe Manel Cape. He's got to be tall, right? Isn't he lanky?
Let's have a look.
Just trying to see. Manel Cape height. 5'5". Oh wow! So Bruce would be big at 125,
Well,
and he had no fat on him.
That's 16. Was it 16 pounds? He'd have to cut to make that.
That's pretty much industry standard, though. I know it's a lot, but
for a guy that small, that'd be still a decent cut, right? Because
obviously
it wouldn't be like one big water cut. He would dry himself out and blah blah blah, and then take a cut for that last 10 pounds or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's your wheelhouse, brother, not mine.
Yeah, no, I never cut weight, but
Yeah,
uh,
but you've been with around guys that would have
I've
done a lot.
seen guys, and I heard that like 15 was industry standard, but that could be for bigger guys because if you're little, it'd be a lot
Yeah, it'd
more
be a big
body
cut for
water
it.
weight.
Yeah.
So let's see how much weight. I don't even think Peter Yan cuts weight. Does Peter Yan cut 15 to 20 pounds or more?
Mm. So
Holy.
around that, basically what we're talking about.
So he
So,
walks around at 150 to 160, Peter Yan, and Bruce was what, 140?
141, it said, yeah.
He's got to cut to 125, otherwise he'd be too small.
Mm.
So Bruce Lee versus Joshua Van. Joshua Van highlights. I think he's a boxer, actually. Boxing.
See if you can find highlights that aren't in the UFC, because UFC get real funny.
Okay. It says Joshua Van's boxing
Or
masterclass.
yeah, that'll be all right. If it's not in the UFC, if it's in a gym or something, it should be fine.
Joshua Van highlights. Okay. Gonna...
Wait.
I share? Am I sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, see it? All right, bet. Just round it down. Oh,
That was pretty slick.
he's definitely a power puncher. He's got a Muay Thai boxing style because he steps in. He doesn't bounce like Bruce Lee. I think Bruce Lee honestly would beat Joshua Van in a striking match because he's too mobile. He's not going to be standing there and taking power shots. Would Joshua Van be able to see how these guys are like covering up because it was in the UFC anyway. The thing is that when you think of fighting as a promotion in a cage and the door locks behind you and the only way you're getting out is through that man across the ring, across the cage, you have to fight. And you only have a certain amount of time. And you want to get a bonus because you have no money. And you want to get the win bonus and you want to get the knockout bonus and you want to put on an exciting fight. So they bring you back and everybody's sucking Dana White off because he's got all the money, right? And so they want to
He's
go
holding the
to the
keys.
they want to go to the edge of the cage at the end and say, Dana, look at me, look what I did for you, right? So it instills, and it's not staying away. I'm picking on him, but it's the whole idea of martial arts as a fight that's promoted, where it used to be self-defense only when you had to, or a path of self-improvement where we actually help each other to improve, not that we're trying to prove that I'm worth more than you because I beat you. So what it does is it trains people to have a strategy, which is like on the Muay Thai shorts, two bulls crashing into each other. I'll show you. Muay Thai, two bulls shorts. Yeah. Bro. See that? This is not Red Bull.
It's not.
Most iconic Muay Thai shorts of all time.
Yeah. Nah. True. And they are.
Red
They
Bull.
kind of. They do. They are kind of like two powerhouses, and they trade. They do.
Yep.
They. It's not like a boxing Western boxing style where they're a little bit more like move around a little bit more elusive. They do rear up and then fucking trade heavy kicks and stuff like that.
Yep. And
Traditionally.
they don't have a long career.
Mm.
They don't live a long time. And their bodies are broken, the shins especially. I didn't know that Red Bull was from Thailand, though. That's interesting. Krating Dang, meaning Red Bull in Thailand. The gold and red logo has become a cultural and national icon.
Mm.
It was a regular sponsor for Muay Thai events, and the logo
Wow.
often features on Muay Thai shorts. Okay, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, one has to lose.
Mm.
One bull is going to hit the other bull, and one bull is going to fall down dead. I mean,
Mm.
that's what the metaphor is. So, in the case of Bruce Lee versus Joshua Van, my theory, what I'm saying is that Bruce Lee will not be a bull. He will be evasive. He will
Mm.
be faster. And according to the stats, he's longer. So he's going to get off. He's going to be picking Joshua Van apart from the outside. And like you said, if this ever happened, Bruce Lee will have trained in jiu-jitsu under somebody legit, and
So
he
Van's
wouldn't
the bull and Bruce Lee's the matador.
get him, Bruce. Where he'd struggle, well, it'd have to be the grappling. Maybe Van.
But
How about
we would have, like you said, we'd have to put a hat on the grappling because he wasn't in that era where they did that sort of thing.
right?
At least mainstream.
And he doesn't seem like a guy who would avoid something that he's not good at. Like some people, they go, "Oh yeah, grappling's for pussies anyway," because to do jujitsu, to get good at jujitsu, you have to get your ass kicked.
Yeah,
Basically, you got to
definitely.
tap out a lot of times, and then your defense gets better, and then one day you actually get some offense. I think Bruce would have that kind of Spartan training. From all accounts, he trained all the time.
Mm.
He pushed himself. So. I think his mentality, his strategy would be a problem for guys because a lot of guys now, people used to call me like a fight nerd. Some people have like the physicality of a fighter, like, but not the mentality. Like Paul Harris, as an example,
Mm.
so physically strong, top of the food chain on the grappling, but just not like he doesn't seem like a smart guy.
No.
Like some guys don't fight smart.
And he likes to hold submissions for a little
Mhm.
while as well.
Yeah, I think he's just
Just
like
for a little
not
bit.
even thinking. I don't even think he's thinking. He's just like
Yeah.
an animal, just got a bone.
I think I can't remember the full story, but didn't he grow up really poor? And I remember
Wow.
like he had a really rough upbringing. I remember about it, but I can't remember the specifics.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's just not everybody can be a genius. I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm saying that some guys are very physically talented,
Mm.
but they don't fight smart, or they only do what they're trained to do.
Mm.
And that's probably everybody. But I think that Bruce's mentality, being a philosopher and kind of like a scientist, how he was inventing things and strategizing, I think he would strategically be a problem for a lot of current fighters. And he would be S tier. S tier, guys. Bruce Lee is up there on in this alternative universe when he was a mixed martial arts champion. He's on Mount Rushmore with Bruce, GSP, Bones, and I don't forget who the last one, Mighty Mouse.
There you go, guys, and you're hearing it from someone that actually fought in the UFC.
Do you agree with that? Mighty Mouse on Mount Rushmore? Who you got?
Like MMA in general, or
Yeah,
just UFC.
MMA in general.
I'd probably go
It's on there.
Fedor, GSP, Anderson Silva, and Bones Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be my four.
And if you had to take one out to put Bruce up there, who would you take out?
Fedor.
Okay. So the only difference in our Rushmore is you got the Spider, I got Mighty Mouse.
I think, like, and no hate on Demetrius, he's really good, but and obviously when he left UFC, he went up and claimed a belt in a higher division later on, but in the spiritual successor, what is it, WEC, he tried and he didn't get a win, and yeah, he was small, but not only that, he dominated in the UFC in arguably the weakest division at the time. So, he
Okay.
didn't move up and beat guys.
Right.
So there's things you could nitpick about it, and like he's top 10 all time. I don't know exactly where, but top 10 all time for sure in the UFC. But I'm not going to put him in the category of them other guys because, in my opinion, they beat guys with better legacy than what Demetrius did, in my opinion.
I think he convinced me, bro. And I'm thinking about it. And doesn't Anderson have like the most title defenses of anybody or something?
Yeah, it was something insane. I can't remember. It was like 10 or something stupid, 9 or 10. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's get let's do him properly.
You know, I main evented Anderson's first fight in the UFC.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. How crazy is that?
I went up into his locker room to warm up when he went out.
True. That's crazy. How does it feel like, because as long as the UFC is going to be a thing, he's always going to be remembered, and you main evented for him.
Nice.
All right, here we go. 10 times. 10 successful
in a row.
defenses. 10 in a row.
Hell yeah. The Spider. And, speaking of Bruce, let's see. Anderson Silva, Bruce Lee Schwartz.
And GSP got 8 or 9, and if it wasn't for your training partner, they would have been in succession.
So I'll just share a quick pic here.
Yeah.
You see the yellow and black, right? Okay.
Whoever made that thumbnail, like, I've got to tip my hat. That is funny. I love Bruce, but that is touche.
All right. So where do you think Anderson got the yellow and black from?
Yeah, that's good.
Boom.
Yeah. Game of death.
A lot to talk about. That's all I have for today. The question isn't whether Bruce Lee.
Right here as well. Sorry, go on.
Life size.
Life size.
The question isn't whether Bruce Lee belongs in MMA. The question is, will MMA ever catch up to Bruce Lee? Because he was operating on a spiritual level. He was saying, as a philosophy of your life, don't listen to other people doing something just because they say it. When you look at MMA today, who is in charge? Is the sensei in charge? Is the temple master in charge? Is the emperor in charge? Who's in charge of the army? Who's in charge of the temple? Who do you put in a position of authority over your martial arts training? Is it Dana White? Do you want to be a UFC fighter? because you could get a traumatic brain injury. You could give somebody else an injury that can affect them for the rest of their life. And maybe Dana White or some other promoter will bless you with a little bit of money. But that's just one way to do martial arts. You could do martial arts for self defense. You could learn combatives. That's like real fighting, biting, eye gouging, headbutts, weapons,
Like we were watching last time.
mentality. Hmm?
Like them
What'd you-
ones we were watching. What's that league called? It we're watching it on
Oh,
Instagram. But they were biting, and that guy had fucking. He'd been eye gouged in that.
oh yeah, the real no rules. I thought you meant the one where the guys have the knight armor on and the swords.
Oh,
You see that?
yeah, I have
That
actually.
is crazy. Holy. I wonder if that hurts. It's gotta.
Yeah. More entertaining than a slap fight, though, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I would recommend people look into Master Lukey's League of Champions. If you want to get the best of both worlds, where I'm going to just go to my website real quick. You have the excitement of MMA. You have the safety of traditional martial arts. So there's no head contact. Let's see if we got a. Here we go. We got no head contact and no finishing. I'll leave that up. This is just a small section of the rules book. But you see here how you have a scoring system from 1 to 100 on the bottom left. We could maybe one day do a Bruce Lee match and give him a score versus Chuck Norris or something. But I think if Bruce was alive today, this would be something he'd be into because he thought outside the box.
Definitely.
And his movies was about the underdog. The Chinese Connection, when the Japanese invaded China and he fought the sensei at the end. You know, the Return of the Dragon, when the mafia was coming in on his uncle's restaurant. Game of Death. I'm not Game of Death. Enter the Dragon. Mr. Han, fighting Mr. Han. These guys are all Dana. The mafia. The big boss. He's siphoning off the money that the martial artists are making. And the way that he tricked you into giving him your money that you earned is by telling you you have to prove that you're better than Joshua Van. Another poor guy just trying to make it in this world. We got to team up, guys.
So this one's
It's
for
not-
the martial arts purists.
This is for everybody, big boss. This is for the athlete who wants a long career. He doesn't want to have to take 6 months off, even if he wins, because he's got injuries from his championship fight. Right? Look at Marab. He fought 4 times, and people are like, holy shit, I can't believe he fought 4 times in a year. Imagine that. You have 4 soccer games in 1 year, and people are fucking flipping their wig. He played 4 basketball games in 1 year. I can't believe it. How? How? Is MMA a sport or not?
So you get more fights, more chances to see the stars out there.
Yeah, look at WWE. Every week they're in your face. That's how you get brand recognition. That's how you get people to want to buy your merch. It's really science, but people are like they don't want to ruffle any feathers. They don't want to rock the boat. Everything's good for Dana White. He's raking it in. All these people who own WME, they're getting paid. But what about Gary Goodrich? What about the hundreds and thousands of fighters that aren't in the UFC anymore? What about all the Thai fighters? There's guys with 200, 300 fights. That's 200 and 300 other people. What happened to them?
Well, if we don't know their name,
Yeah. Did Dana take care of them? Are they rich? I don't think so. But I tell you what, even the guys who don't get playing time in the NFL, they can still get paid. Yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's have a real MMA league with teams, with weekly matches, with a worldwide scoreboard. Not one champion versus UFC champion. Maybe one day we'll see Fedor versus Randy Couture. They took that from us, James.
Yeah, I know.
They took that match from us.
I know. They had it fucking basically all ready to go. The UFC stepped in and stopped it from happening. You remember that EA MMA? They branded that game with that fight.
Oh, wow.
You remember that?
It was on the cover?
Yeah. So, like EA
Jinx.
Sports, they do UFC games now. But back in the day, they were THQ. And then when EA Sports come out with EA Sports MMA, and they had like the guys from Strikeforce and like the Diaz brothers and Alistair Overeem and obviously Fedor and Randy. And Dana was like, hey, anyone that fucking goes in the EA MMA, you're going to be boycotted from the UFC.
Oof.
Obviously, that didn't happen because a lot of them ended up fighting the UFC. But a lot of guys didn't want to do the UFC game because they were going to sign off on their branding and their physical likeness for free. And
oh my God.
yeah.
I think I did that.
Oh, true.
They flew me out. This was like right before I left, so I never got in the game. But when they first, I think it was the first one, they flew me out.
Yeah.
Like one day, I stood in a booth. They had like this camera that went all around
Oh, wow.
for the 3D thing. I think it was for the game.
But you retired just
Everything
before it come
happens
out?
for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, big boss. I'm going to finish with this clip of Bruce again.
Yeah.
Am I sharing? Let's see. No. And this is my message. Guys, I'm on a spiritual mission too. I don't want to like get rich and famous. I want to create
You already are
something that's
famous.
gonna last.
You
I want
already
to
are
create
famous.
something that's gonna last, James.
Yeah.
I want to be famous in a way that, like, if I come to your house or you come to my house, it's gonna be a fucking celebration.
Mm.
That's not because I'm famous; it's because we're friends,
We are friends, and I appreciate that.
right?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the best things that's happened for me in this 2025 is you and I becoming mates. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Amen to that, brother. So, we're a team,
Yeah, mate, I got your back 100%.
and it is a battle.
Hey, here he is
Like I
then.
said, nobody wants to change.
Mm.
So we got to put it on them. We got to run into their dojo like this.
What's this? Chenje. It's all thanks to you.
And where have you been all day? I'll bet you've been around to the Honku school, causing trouble.
Not the right gun. Oh, sorry about that.
Well, now see what you've done. You act a hero, and this is what they do to us.
It's my message, guys. For all the people that
I have come here to avenge my teacher.
got involved in
This
MMA
doesn't concern you. I'll
and
allow
got
you
injured
to leave.
or hurt
Out.
somebody else,
Out. 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 Scram!
That's might be my favorite Bruce Lee movie. He's so emotional. At the end when he kicks the guy through the window, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
He's
it's
a good actor.
yeah, definitely. And he was he was in movies since he was a baby. Like I think he was he was less than one. He was still like a little baby. In his first role, he was actually like a girl, because you're a baby, no one's gonna fucking notice. And then he basically did movie because as you know, his dad was like a famous stage actor over there, so he did movies all through his childhood. But I mean, the guy oozes charisma, like he's super charismatic, and it just like comes through the screen. It's very rare do you get someone that comes along with that level of like charisma.
Right. Yeah, he left a great message for us. Don't do what everybody else is doing just because everybody else is doing it.
Blaze your own trail.
And the other message is that Bruce and everybody, all the people that got injured in MMA, all the people that died on the battlefield, all the people that got killed by the other people who passed down, like the people who passed down martial arts, used it to kill other people. That's how it happened. You had war, you had styles or camps, and one camp won. They weren't doing tap outs back then. So these people, they gave their lives for us, whether they realize it or not, whether you realize it or not. We're all on the same team, under the same sport, and now all we need is a league. So get involved. Type in the comments if you agree. Maybe you think Bruce was a phony. Maybe you think we're not giving him enough credit, because you can trace the lineage and you could say, well, hold on a second. The guy who created the UFC was a huge Bruce Lee fan. The first guy, I forgot his name. Art something?
Yeah,
maybe?
Art Davies.
I think was he the one who created it? It might have been
It
somebody
was
else.
him and the Gracies.
It was Art Davies.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, it was all battle tested. The Gracies, whether or not they kind of picked opponents for the first UFC, they did battle tests with the Gracie Challenge and stuff. They exposed a lot of the BS. And I would say that's similar concept where Bruce is saying, don't get stuck in a style. Don't get stuck in UFC, guys. Don't think that that's the only way to do MMA. And if you want to learn more, definitely comment and subscribe.
That's it.
Let us know what more Bruce Lee you want to know about, because there's a lot of footage. I only pulled up 3 examples today, but like I said, I used to spar using his techniques, and there's a couple of movies I could think of, a couple of scenes right away. That you got Game of Death, that Chinese Connection's got several scenes where he's facing not just Chuck Norris, but other martial artists.
Bob Wall.
And you could maybe take a little hint for your sparring. But feel free to reach out. And James, I want to thank you, boss man, the big boss, the first Bruce Lee movie. Thank you for hosting and allowing the people to get a bit of this information that they're not going to get anywhere else. Everybody's got UFC nuts in their mouth, so we're keeping it real here, guys. It's not as real as it gets. This is maybe too real for you. But definitely let us know, and we've got some other shows planned, James. What do you
Definitely.
think, James? You said you got questions, but that's
Yeah, we'll save them. We'll save them though for another one. We'll do a part 2 on Bruce. What do you reckon?
Return of the Dragon.
Yeah, that'll be the name for the next one. What do you reckon?
All right, love it. So this one's Enter the Dragon.
Thanks. I appreciate you taking the time, like always, Master Lukey. You know, we all appreciate you, and thanks again,
Likewise.
man. And thanks for all the lads that stick around.
All right, lads.
Till next time,
Cheers.
take care.